Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our UTA College of Business Cybersecurity Awareness Month panel. We are being featured during the 2025 UTA Business Week. I am Professor Adriana Sanford, and I am delighted to moderate this panel of community leaders that are actually in the global space, actively dealing with the AI risks. Joining me is Amy Chaney. She's a Senior Vice President of Technology and the Chief Operations Officer for Citi. She is also the chapter president for the North Texas chapter of ISSA, which is the Information Systems and Security Association. Also joining me is Micki Boland. She is a technologist and a security architect with the Office of the CTO for Checkpoint Software Technology. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
So when we talk about AI risk, the concern is that we look at AI as an instrumentality, we look at it as a target, and also we look at the unintended consequences of legitimate AI use. When we're thinking about instrumentality, we're looking at disinformation, we're looking at deepfakes, we're looking at cyber threats and the weaponization of information. What are the consequences?
Yeah, absolutely. So identity and access management is one of the, I would say, largest, oldest, most important security domains because it starts with access and the identification of appropriate resources. So information can be misused, can be weaponized. And so we can talk a little bit about that. That can be happening from the inside or outside, insider threat, malicious employee, unintentional employee, third party. But World Economic Forum talks about disinformation security being the top threat in the world for the next couple of years, and definitely ranking in the top 5 over the next 10 years. The reason why is because of the abundance of ability to create deep fakes, voice fakes, video, audio, of course, is new, but the use of misinformation, which is unintentional generally, but it's making mistakes, sloppy journalism. You can think of wrong dates, wrong statistics, using the wrong name for a credit. That's false information. Misinformation is very similar to disinformation. Disinformation is just fabricated. It's a lie. It's manipulated. And that can be the deep fakes and malinformation. So this is information that's presented with an intent to harm an organization, a person, a country, in fact. And so because this is such a top threat, the entire, we'll say, tool chain of hygiene controls that should precede that, knowing who's sending information in is important as understanding who your employees, who your third parties, who your machines and bots are.
What do you see, or, as far as a genuine way of being able to see if something is authentic? What would be some steps that the organization can take to try to help their teams, to try to help the employees understand what they're looking at, whether this video is legit? We're seeing a lot of that on social media. We see all sorts of videos of, children riding on alligators and whatnot, and somebody says this AI. But that's a little obvious. But what other guidance can you give us to be able to identify what it is that we're listening to, or what it is that we're watching?
Phone calls, video calls like this used to be something that we could always trust. However, people that are applying for jobs, people that are applying for whether it's a citizenship, a scholarship, or any sort of representation can be manipulated in real time. And so it's additional layers of trust. It's somebody that has seen for years in the banking system. We would have a physical meeting before somebody's hired on, just period. We just would not take the practice of hiring completely and exclusively through video. Now, not every bank, not every company adopts the same practices, but again, you mentioned hallucinations. That's going to come up in the disinformation, where you're generating information and you may create something false through a series of prompts or commands. Again, the shortcuts aren't always going to give you the best outcome. You really want to make sure you're using appropriate sources, that you're doing maybe what would be considered an extra step, checking your links, doing some exploratory understanding. But in university also, there are abundance of sources that are appropriate and cataloged and libraries. In fact, us outside of academia often use those resources as well.
This brings us to the technology behind these threats. Micki, I turn to you. What is the biggest blind spot that you would see right now in securing these AI systems?
This is great conversation and so important that we're talking about this. I think that I would say for university and for everyone is to know that the AI is a tool. Just like anything else, we've had AI has been around for a while. We've had machine learning and predictive algorithms and neural networks. But what we're seeing now is creating new content from things that already exist. So generative AI is the next level of deep learning, and it's really taking information that is out there available and making new things out of it. So it can be voice, it can be video, it can be, you know, with your large language models where you're seeking like a chat GPT, not to call out any product, but that's one platform that everyone, I think Perplexity is another that we're utilizing Copilot within Microsoft. So the idea is that above all of this, I want to say is that just like any technology, there's good uses and there's, you know, appropriate uses, and then there's the bad side. So the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So in the technology, you need to understand that there are the pieces of utilizing the technology for legitimate business, for research, academics, and how you're actually utilizing the technology from an ethical perspective, from the guardrails of making sure that whatever information you get back, you're not leaning into it and not researching on your own. And understand that the platforms that you're using and the tools, they can actually be utilized to get information from you. So you may leak or potentially put in proprietary information. I will use a global telco that their engineers put in their software code for a platform to help them troubleshoot, and they leak their source code, which, you know, these are the things that we need to understand. And as students and researchers in academia, you're working on very important things. I don't know if you guys realize, but it's so important. Your research is your intellectual property, and it's highly sought after. So when you're putting things in, you need to understand what you're doing. What are you exposing? And then when we were building applications in-house, I'm sure you have it within the university. I haven't played recently on UT, their tools, but I think there are things that are proprietary or semi-proprietary where you're actually able to get research from within the UT system or PhD programs or research teams, and then meld that with external public resources that are available. And this is called retrieval augmented generation. And that type of generative AI is actually bringing back information. So you need to ensure that the university needs to ensure that anything that you put in is being protected, and that the information you get back is not leaking proprietary data or top secret resources that no one should have access to. And then additionally, you need to look at everything that you're receiving with a very skeptical eye, and make sure that you're doing fact checking research on your own. I think that we're seeing a lot of AI generated content. I would say as a student, it's probably very attractive that you can use it. You can go out and create a video. Like I just play with Grok, and the new little video snips of something, I can dream it and have it a 10-second video. I can do anything really. This is just so amazing to all of us, but we need to ensure that we're actually being authentic. And then the last thing I'll say about this before I steal the microphone forever is in all of these things, you guys know that there's social engineering taking place. So as Amy discussed, way above the technologies that can be exploited, there are the manipulation of human beings. So social engineering is taking place everywhere. You may be connecting with people that you think are legitimate students or on a research team. Vet every single person and use a zero trust approach when people come to you to ensure that you know that's a human being. Because back to the AI being used for bad, in these social media platforms, there are a lot of accounts that are fake accounts. They're generated, they're not real people. And it's all about doing social engineering and then connecting with you and then connecting in. So there's a group called Scattered Spider, they're bad guys. And they've actually started socially engineering IT. So, like, you know, you're at UT, you need help with something, you can't access to whatever, some research database, you call the help desk. Well, they're calling the help desk now and actually impersonating people in the university system. So my long story of all of this is, you know, use a smart approach with how you're utilizing the technology. Ensure that you understand that you're doing, use it in a responsible and ethical way, and then know that people are using this along with social engineering to manipulate you. So it's very important that we put the guardrails in these systems and platforms so that we are using them responsibly and that we can trust what that we're, the information that we're utilizing is accurate and fair. And yeah,
At
that's
what point can we say that we've done our job?
I mean, I'd be happy to talk, maybe starting from a macro level, because you know, the bar of entry to commit a crime is very low with AI enabling that can be widespread quickly. The bar to commit just about any crime is fairly low, though. It's a matter of choice. Are people trying to execute something straightforward or something that's not? So it's not particularly different in that sense, but what is different is that threat actors obviously are quickly weaponizing generative AI. They're writing malicious code. They're spear phishing, like I was saying, at scale, not just individually. And this might be something that washes through the university system, washes through a corporate environment. It might be a trusted partner, all the right logos, check the links. You know, if something's coming through everywhere and your boss, your teammates, and nobody knew about it, it's probably not legitimate. But on the macro, these adversarial attacks or advanced persistent threats sometimes, or poisoning environments or subverting AI models. You know, the way we were about 5 years ago was 90% of cybersecurity was a phrase called defense in depth. You'll see references to layers and things like that, making it more difficult for adversaries to get to a corporate environment. It's the same with a person. You can put more layers between you, additional passwords, additional protections, things like that. However, some of the attacks are coming directly to you looking legitimate. So if you're not expecting it, if it's, you know, possibly, wow, this is amazing, I was just thinking about this, why is it here? Keep in mind your eye movements are tracked through your camera on your phone. If you're looking at something on your screen and didn't scroll it, but paused and looked at it for a while, that's reversible. A lot of things are reversible. No, not everybody's watching every person trying to reverse engineer and hack them all the time, but we do have large nation states. We do have spin up gangs. We do have people that get disgruntled or frustrated or want to try something. They learned about it in class. They learned about a new tool, and they're just going to go mess with something until they get a result. Sometimes those results happen to be much larger, but leveraging autonomous AI agents for threat hunting. So we're moving that pendulum to defense to prevention. We'll be at 50% of our tools are preventative and growing higher as Gartner prediction in upcoming years. So we're investing in predictive threat intelligence. We're trying to neutralize those AI sort of attacks by creating our own small language or trusted models, and not just open doors to the world in that sense. Same for yourself personally. Check your transactions on your debit cards, check things that, might be areas that would indicate something's happened. Your credit report, there's 100 services that offer that for free, and you can see if there's been activity. However, the best advice is to sort of stick to known sources, stick to known people. And when you're working with, you have to have validation. You really, if you don't have other people validating that somebody is real, Citibank is in every country in the world. I don't know another company that's in every country in the world. And so we work with the whole world, and we have to take additional steps. And I've worked in Chase and Bank of America, also global banks. We spend the money to ensure, because on the back end, the amount of damage that can happen is, tens of thousands or millions of customers or clients, and we just can't afford it. So think that way. What's the worst that could happen if I wasn't sure, or if this was wrong, and take the appropriate proof steps? So use those guiding principles. They work the same way for individuals as business.
Any points as we wrap up now that you can give to our students that are looking for internships, that are looking for a career in this space, or just some guidance, some insights?
I can give a quick, and then Micki, if you want to. Banks intern all the time, all education levels, out of high school, pre-graduate, postgraduate, PhD candidates. I've stood in conferences and talked with people in real time and sent some to HR. So banks do that all the time. And a lot of companies, a lot of industry leaders are constantly looking for networking and engagement. So if you think there's an area you're interested in, they probably are looking for you too.
Nice. Micki, any additional points?
Yeah, so we would love more cyber warriors. It is a great career, great opportunity. If you're in business and you feel like, okay, I really am going for an MBA and really want to focus on financials, that is fantastic. But there are plenty of opportunities in financials for people that know cybersecurity and AI-powered cybersecurity, because as Amy stated, the Citibanks, these guys, the global financials, are actually doing really great threat intelligence in terms of like transnational fraud that they can put together with AI tools that they could never see before. It's just it's phenomenal. So the message is, get involved. If you want a bug bounty hunt, it's free. You can join a bug bounty program. If you want to learn AI, prompt engineering, and cybersecurity, go after an AI bug bounty like Microsoft has, OpenAI has, XAI, all these guys, Perplexity. You can go out there and hack. You can form a group. You can make money. If you find a bug, you report it. You can win. So it's kind of cool. At all levels. If you're going for MBA financials, look at the way the global financials are approaching AI to defend and protect against transnational bank fraud. And this is everything from, mule transactions and money laundering. There are high regulatory fines if a bank has issues with money laundering. So they're actually trying to interdict money laundering activities across the globe. There are so many opportunities, you guys, I can't even say enough. But I do want to say something I didn't get to say before, and we talked about it before, Adriana, is that I want you guys, I'm going to leave this with you guys. I'm looking at my report, so I am moving around, but Checkpoint Research, that's my company, we actually found in our 2025 mid-year report that education, and I'm talking about across the industry sector, but mostly higher ed, is being attacked exponentially higher than any other industry sector. So we had at the middle, so in July, we saw that there was an average of 4,300 plus attacks every week.
Incredible.
On education. You guys, you are most targeted, and there's a reason why. 41% increase in attacks year over year. You know why? Because you have something that that people want. nation states want. You're working on really good research. There are other nation states that are looking at us to see how we actually do things, what research teams are doing, what you're developing. If you're writing a dissertation in your PhD program, I know that you guys may not be, but everything that you do is intellectual property for you. And potentially, if you're doing a spin out or you're going to do something like a tech transfer within university, that's all intellectual property. So again, the message to you is get in cybersecurity, learn something about it, be a proponent no matter what level you're at. In business, if you want to find some ways to like start a new company, AI powered cybersecurity, there's tons of needs there. There's lots of opportunity. And then just from an understanding that what you're doing is important. And please, please, please protect. Look at yourself. Follow the good advices provided here, and know that a lot of times the people that approach you that are trying to help you may not be real people, and they may be targeting your research. So it's super important that you understand that and take steps to get smarter, better, faster, and know your adversary.
The universities can make a splash page on the the intranet that provides all those tools. It's such a helpful step when companies and organizations do that. Many do that, and what it does is drives people to experiment safely in a contained area where they're not going to leak information out. Everybody would understand the concept if you set your wallet, your billfold, your money clip, your purse with actual cash or cards on a park bench, a mall, an airport. Everybody would understand that someone will pick that up, whether their intention is good or bad. It's not going to stay. It's the same thing with your information. It might just be your ID, a legitimate ID at a university that will be used for social engineering and lateral movement, or even understanding and watching. It might just be something that's far beyond what you or a worker, a student, myself would understand. And so creating the guardrails to keep, we'll say the playground safe is so important.
That's so important, Amy, that you said it, because all organizations that are having, an ethical use policy of how that they can use AI within the organization, and then what types of tools and platforms have been kind of pre-approved to continue innovation, but also make that playground safe, is exactly what you just described, is having a landing page. I don't know at the university if they're making the students sign off on ethical use of AI, maybe, but a splash page or like an internet site where they can go, because a lot of times if students are just going out and Google searching or searching for like, I need this AI tool, what should I use? A lot of those domains are fake domains that they may come back with, and they don't know that they're going to not a very good AI site. So having some AI platforms and solutions that are pre-approved for use within the university is powerful. And then also it ensures that if they click that page and they launch to it, then they're going to the right place and it's approved by the university. Another thing I would say is, like, if you can, do a paid account, because if you look at the privacy policy for for some of these tools, if you pay, there's a greater protection of the information that you put in. And also it's there. So anyway, it just provides another level of security and privacy.
Thank you so much, both of you, for coming. I know you're very hectic schedules, and it's always hard to find some time, but we really do appreciate it. And thank you for joining us for the UTA 2025 UTA Business Week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.